Now, today we have a great movie. Um, it's it's adapted from a video game that I have successfully never heard of. I had to look it up what it was adapted from. I figured it was an anime, but it's a video game called Onechanbara Bikini Samurai Squad. This movie is nonstop action. It's about a samurai in a bikini kills zombies with her blonde haired friend who is kind of useless. And when it first starts out, we see a zombie, two guys shooting zombies. And then they get eaten. And then we see these other guys at apparently a fight club or gang rally or I don't know what it is. But they're fighting each other and drinking. And a zombie shows up, brings his horde, and they start eating them. And then the bikini samurai shows up and starts taking out zombies. Her name is Aya, as we later learn. And then all of a sudden, this biker chick with the sawed-off shotgun shows up and starts killing zombies too. Her name is Rika. Rika. Her name is Rika. And they team up because Rika knows the way to Saki. Saki is where Saki is the person Aya wants to face. Because Saki is her little sister who killed her father. Then we meet the evil mad scientist who's creating these zombies because he thinks they're a greater form of human because he's a mad scientist and mad scientists think these things. I don't know if we ever learn his name. If we do, I don't remember it. But it is a weird. He gives a monologue. He monologues a lot, as mad scientists tend to do. But we see him creating a zombie, and we see uh what's her name? Eva or whatever her name is. Uh Kill someone so the mad scientist can turn them into a zombie. She is also a samurai. So they're making their way, and we see another action scene, which is it's always a cool action scene in this movie. The action scenes are really good in this movie. Now, as I said, the fat blonde guy is really kind of useless in this movie. But as they're making their way, we see them camp for the night. And this guy and this girl come out, and they're like, "No, you shouldn't go any further," because there are always people telling these people never not go any further. And then we see some boobs because the guy and the girl have sex, and then the guy and the girl get eaten by zombies, and the fat guy almost gets eaten by zombies, but Rika saves him. And then there's another action scene, and then they head out. Now, along this movie, we found out more exposition. We find out that Aya never smiles or cries, even though she's on a mission of revenge. And we find out that Rika, when we get to the hospital scene, and they're in these little camp hospital area, and she finds a little girl that she befriends, and Shiva injured her, Shiraya or whatever her name is, Shira or whatever, whatever her name is, injures the little girl, and she gets bit. The little girl gets bit by a zombie at this point, and Rika is tending to her. That we find out she gets bit. That Rika daughter got bit by a zombie, and Rika had to shoot her. Now, in this scene, we've also found out earlier that the fat blonde guy, whose name I don't remember, sister got kidnapped. And now his sister is a zombie, and he's trying to talk this zombie into remembering him. Well, he kills his sister because she's a zombie. As I said, this is a really good movie. And I'm not doing it any justice because I was just blown away by this movie. I mean, it is nonstop action. It is great action. Whoever did the action in this movie is just great. And the ending is great. Let me get to the ending, because I'm not doing this movie any justice. But let me go back to the hospital scene first before I get to the ending. So Rika refuses to leave when the zombie horde shows up at the hospital, and Aya and the fat guy leaves. And Rika stays behind to tend to the little girl who dies of her wounds. And then the zombies break into the room, and Rika is shooting them, and then the little girl comes up to the zombie and she shoots her. And you're like, does she die? Does she not die? You're like, she probably doesn't die. She's probably going to show up at the end. And then Io and the fat guy get to the mad scientist area, and he monologues again, because that's what the mad scientist does. And then the mad scientist is like, let's see how good you are. And he has a zombie army show up to meet Aya. I mean, this is an army. This is a good 100 zombies at this point that Aya has to face. And she's facing them, but she's also kind of getting her butt kicked. And then Rika shows up out of nowhere, because you know she's going to come in at the end. And the fat blonde guy kind of sneaks into where the doctor's watching from his cameras, tries to take the doctor down. They have a little tussle. This is the only point the fat blonde guy is useful. And then a zombie breaks in and takes out the mad scientist. And while the zombie's eating the mad scientist, the fat blonde guy pulls out the mad scientist's sword and stabs them both, taking them both out. Well, Rika gets eaten by zombies. And Aya does this some kind of tornado thing with her sword, and whips out a tornado and beheads all the 100 zombies. And Rika's like, says something, I don't remember what she says. And then she shoots herself because she doesn't want to become a zombie. And then we get the final fight. Probably the greatest final fight I have ever seen in the history of film. Not film. I'm saying film, not anime, not video games. I've seen better final fights in anime and video games, but this is a good final fight for film. I mean, it's like an anime final fight, but it's in film, between Aya and her sister. And they fight for a little while, and then Aya powers up, and then Aya's like kicking her sister's ass, and then Aya stabs her, and then her sister's like pulls out the sword and is like, no, I'm an undead zombie thing too. And then she powers up, and then they're both powered up, and then it's like Goku versus Cell at this point. They're just bouncing around, jumping everywhere, flying in the air. I mean, I'm not even doing this fight justice. It's so damn cool. Anyways, Aya ends up winning. and then cries over her sister. And then at the end, she buries her sister, she buries Rika, and she smiles for the first time in the whole movie to go fight zombies again with the fat blonde guy who is totally useless. And this is a great film. If you like zombies, there are lots of zombies in it. If you like action, there's lots of action in it. Not that scary though. Not that scary. Lots of gore, lots of zombies, lots of action, lots of cool samurai stuff. The fights are downright amazing. And the final fight at the end is the greatest final fight I've seen in film. It is like an anime final fight. You got to check it out. It's Onechanbara, Bikini Samurai Squad. It's on Tubi. You got to check out this film. I guess there's a sequel to it. I don't know if the sequel's on Tubi. I'm going to look it up. Once again, it's Onechanbara, Bikini Samurai Squad. It's on Tubi. Check out this film. It's great. 14 out of 10 stars.